Now, where do you even start with a video like this? Feck it, let's just do it this way. What's up, you beautiful feckers? How you all doing? Now, today's video is a bit different. It's not the usual news or build or update video, and over the years, I've never really asked you guys to like or share my videos. It's not something I do. I try to just throw them out there and hope for the best. But this one is a little bit different, so I would appreciate that. Now, about 10 days ago, I was made aware of a farewell post on the Warframe forums by someone who had played Warframe for 13 years, the same as myself. But this wasn't your usual rage quit post. It wasn't somebody complaining about the game after 10,000 hours and finally snapping. This was a goodbye from someone called GrimMyfanwy, a Tenno who had spent over 13 years with Warframe, and over that time saw it become more than just a game. For him, it became a family. Now, Grim wrote that post after being diagnosed with late-stage liver, colon and lung cancer, and admitted that his outlook isn't good. But instead of just disappearing quietly, he wanted to say thank you. Thank you to the old dev team who built the game that he fell in love with. Thank you to the current team for continuing to grow it. Thank you to the creators who helped keep the community alive. And thank you to you guys, the players, his friends, and of course clanmates who made the world of Warframe feel like home. Now, from a personal standpoint, what makes this message hit so hard wasn't that it was angry, it isn't bitter, it's grateful. Even with everything that Grim is facing, he's looking back on his time with Warframe and the community as something meaningful, something he felt lucky to be a part of, and at its core, it's just a sincere thank you and goodbye from a Tenno who genuinely loved this game and the people within it. Now, he also mentioned me in his farewell, and I won't lie, that kind of hit a little bit hard. Not because it was about me, but because something I said over the years of making videos about playing Warframe for fun and that what actually mattered resonated with Grim, and that's incredibly humbling and honestly something that I don't really ever think about when making these daft little videos, that something I say will resonate with people watching the video. It tends to be just, here's the build, have fun. Now, I reached out to Grim, and we've been messaging back and forth on the Warframe forums, and I noticed that there were a few Tenno in the Reddit thread asking for either his favourite fashion setup or his favourite build, because they wanted some way to remember Grim in-game. And I really liked that idea. So I want to remember Grim by keeping his favourite Warframe and build in my arsenal from now until the day Warframe is no more, or either I am, whichever fucking comes first. So the setup that you're seeing in the footage is Grim's Breach and Clear Frost Prime build. Now, it is built around the idea of stripping armor, using Roar to buff your weapon damage, and either using the Galaxian as a primary weapon or the Natterok for explosions. But I've added a little bit of fun with a melee weapon just for the footage because I feel like it fits as well. Now, Frost is one of the OG frames, and over the years he has gone from strength to strength with buffs or indirect buffs, so he is always a good choice for a mission. Now, since Grim liked helping new players, that's what we're going to do first before we get into Grim's particular build itself. Now, if you're a relatively new player to Warframe and you've picked up Frost and you're looking to build him and trying to figure out how you go about modding him until you get all of the Archon mods and the Prime mods and the Umbral mods that are going to, I guess, accelerate your build into that kind of really tanky frame that's hard to kill, then this would be a kind of default go-to setup for most frames in-game, where you're basically looking for a mix of all stats across the board, while also giving yourself a little bit of survivability. So you would go for something along the lines of this. If you have the augments, then use them. If you don't, you could put redirection in here to give yourself more shield for more survivability, or if you've got any of the drift mods, you could drop them in as well. Again, this is kind of just beginner until you can get to, I guess, the heights of someone who has all of the powerful mods. So this is pretty much Grim's Frost, okay? It is a Breach and Clear Frost. He has got Roar subsumed onto his first ability. Growing Power, additional strength, also Umbral Intensify, more strength, Blind Rage, more strength. It has got both augments, Biting Frost for crit chance, crit damage against frozen enemies. It has got Icy Avalanche to give himself lots of overguard. He has got Preparation for energy filled on spawn into a mission, and then everything else is basically energy sustained with Equilibrium, Arcane Energize. Archon Flow is also going to give you a chance for energy orbs, and then a bit of range with overextended. So this is kind of his setup, and he does like using either the Natterok bow as his primary weapon or the Galaxian, the Tenno Galaxian, which will also with the augment give you energy orbs. So it is a very comfortable Frost build with plenty of energy sustain and quite hard to kill, and the weapons he's using are quite powerful as well. Now, another weapon that I've been using in the footage, which you may have seen, is the Tack and Lug using a melee influence setup, since its passive does inflict blast damage on enemies, and throwing that shield in a build that is a breach and clear reminds me of, I guess, SWAT teams going into a building with a riot shield. So I wanted to take a sword and shield, and since the Tack and Lug has got that explosive element to it on enemies that are already stripped of their armor, it is really enjoyable and quite fun. I just wish the shield had a little bit more range to it, and I also wish that when I was going up and down stairs, it didn't just throw it in a straight line either underneath the stairs or above the heads of the enemies. But it is an incredibly fun weapon. Now, if you're wondering what my Galaxian build, my Tenno Galaxian build was throughout that footage, then this is basically it as well. It is a magnetic, blast and corrosive build built around primary debilitate to separate some of these elements into, I guess, the single version of them. Critical delay to increase my crit chance. Photon overcharge to give me crit damage, but also a chance at energy orbs. Then I've got malignant force on high voltage for corrosive. I have got a riven, but this riven you can just switch for a normal heat mod, so you can if you want to. Primary shred is going to increase my fire rate, which is offsetting the negative from this. And then I've got Galvanized Chamber and I've got Galvanized Aptitude for their buffs as well. So this is pretty much my go-to Tenno Galaxian build. So if you wanted to use that, you could as well. But again, this is Grim's build. Do with it what you want. I'm going to keep this build indefinitely. It's going to stay as one of my configs to remember Grim. And I guess the conversations that we've had in the forums on DMs over the last few days. So, to Grim, I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for the years that you have given to this game, for the words that you left behind, and for reminding all of us, myself included, that Warframe was never just about the loot or the grind or the next update. For a lot of us, it's about, I guess, the experience and the people we get to share that experience with. It's also about the people that you meet along the way and the time that you get to spend together. Now, like I said, your Frost will stay in my arsenal indefinitely, and I know a lot of Tenno out there will remember you in their own way as well. And to everyone watching, if a game or a community or even one random fecker on the internet has ever made your day just that little bit better, then maybe tell them, because sometimes those little things matter a hell of a lot more than we will ever realise. So, Sláinte, Grim, and wherever the road takes you, I hope it's a peaceful one. Thanks for watching.